I need to see this video. Like, everyone's laughing at it at this point. Everyone thinks it's the worst game in history. You know, I want to see this. I want to see what Asmon's saying this time. Let's have a look. Let me just make sure you guys can hear. Yeah, there we go.
Wait a minute.
After you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to Highguard.
Highguard just launched, 97,000 players on Steam in day one. It's a free-to-play hero shooter from ex-Apex and Titanfall devs.
Man.
Sounds promising, right?
Nope.
But the reviews? Mostly negative and dropping fast.
Yep.
Players are already leaving in droves. Someone tagged me the other day, rewatch your Culture Killed Concord video at 5:10.
Yep.
It predicted this. And honestly, sadly, it really did. In that breakdown, I talked about how aspirational characters are make or break in these games.
What she means by that, by aspirational characters, this is like a euphemism. What it means is that characters that people want to be. Like, a great example of this is that if a game is really good, people are going to want to cosplay the characters from that game. Do you think anybody's going to cosplay a character from Highguard? Absolutely fucking not.
But I mean, the game's not really been out long enough to want to cosplay any of the characters. Like, I wasn't, when I was like playing Apex, I didn't want to like be Wraith or Bangalore straight away. Like, you know what I mean? That took a load of time, like a couple seasons, a bit of character building and stuff, you know? Like, I don't know. I didn't particularly want to do that straight away with Apex. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's my fault, man.
Lauren, I've shipped a lot of different
Master
game
Chief,
titles,
yeah.
like yours at Xbox,
Geralt,
and we
exactly.
almost made that exact
I
mistake.
compare it to Apex a lot, by the way, because it's supposed to be like similar devs or the same devs as Apex, so that's why I keep saying Apex.
Mistake ourselves on a game I made, but we didn't get caught by the bubble.
Yep.
Let's break down why Highguard is feeling like another cautionary tale.
It sucks.
Launched looked promising. There was a big peak from the Game Awards hype.
Yep.
There was crossplay on PC
Everybody
and
was happy.
PlayStation and Xbox.
Wow.
You had solid team pedigree. Early buzz was there. People were genuinely curious about the raid loot PvP twist.
I don't think that people are genuinely curious. I think that they had an impossible mountain to climb. Everybody had already made up their mind 3 seconds into the trailer that the game was bad. Like, whenever you have a bad first impression like that, I'm pretty sure you're cooked. That's it.
But that's my thing though. Like, everyone's got that like first impression of it within the first 3 seconds of the trailer, but it's like, why is that already the case? Like, of course, yeah, trailer can look good or not, but you have to play the game. You have to see how it feels mechanically. For me, like, I can't just say a game is bad without actually watching it myself or playing it myself. Like, I will literally watching someone do the gameplay and at least testing it, or actually fully just spending a couple hours on the game. Then I will judge it. Like, I can't just go off of a trailer. Like, a trailer doesn't really give you anything. And it's not about watching the trailer. It's about how it makes me feel when I'm playing it. And it all changes as well, especially when you've got like your stack of players that you're playing with. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, for me, any game is made better depending on who I'm playing with and how passionate they are about it as well. So I don't know. That's just how I think.
Developer would love that kind of day one spike.
Yeah.
But just a few days later, live players have dropped over 85 to 90% from the 97,249 peak.
Where do you guys
now
think
they're
it's gonna be
sitting
in 2
around
weeks?
10 or 11K concurrent on Steam. And the reviews...
So those numbers are crazy, I'll be
negative.
honest. That is crazy.
Complaints range from bland, generic character...
It went all the way down to under 4,000 players.
I mean, good thing it's a 3v3 though, right?
...personality or hook, to slow 3v3 pacing on huge maps, and there are a lot of performance bugs that are killing the flow.
I think also the game's pretty flat. You know, there's not really a lot that's like going on. I don't... Like in Apex, for example, I felt like there was a lot of nuance and context to the game with like the way that you would move, with the way that you would get different gear, you could use different attachments. Like there was a lot more to it.
But isn't that like the reason why? Isn't that a point in this favor where like it's not like every other game where there's not a lot going on? Does a game have to have a lot going on? I'm not saying Asmon's wrong here. I'm just saying, like, is that what it means? Like, does a game have to have a lot going on for it to be like a contributing factor to the game being good? Because I like the fact that the game's like quite minimalistic. It's very simple, to the point. There's one job to do. You got to do that job. You know, like, I don't feel like this game would have benefited by having more going on per se.
Look, free-to-play PvP is a crowded
Just boring.
space.
Yeah.
You have to keep players engaged because retention is revenue. Miss it? Game over.
That's right.
Characters. Creating inspirational.
I feel like a lot of these opinions are just coming off the back of like people going in and solo queuing, especially like when you're coming streamers like Asmongold. I don't really see him like making stacks and so on. Like if this was say Jinxie and there was like 3 people with Jinxie, I don't feel like he'd be saying this kind of thing. I feel like this is more opinions of people who are like solo queuing and stuff, which is fair enough. But that's just my observation. That's what I think this is, and I think that makes this whole situation make a bit more sense.
Characters that people want to play.
Like
this is really
Mercy.
critical to the game. I know.
I think that's what it
because
is.
We had this exact problem on Gotham City Imposters.
Let's get that blindfold off you.
Yeah, of course.
Welcome to Bats HQ.
Something
That
like
was a
Bats
clip from my
HQ.
Culture
Look at
Killed
him.
Concord video.
Mhm.
The Gotham team was extremely talented and had great pedigree too.
Yep.
This isn't easy to get right, but it's imperative with this kind of game. Players want aspirational characters, heroes you crave to be.
Yeah, people obviously. This is the thing is that this is such an obvious reality that anybody who's denying this or ignoring it or anything else is just out of their mind. Again, I think that the cosplay benchmark is so effective. If people don't even want to cosplay your characters, the odds are that your characters kind of suck. If nobody wants to be these characters, then why would anybody want to play them?
I know what he means, but that's what I'm saying. There's just not been enough time to want to be those characters. That's just what I think. I don't know.
Echoed it. So how did this happen?
I know what he's saying though. I understand
First,
what he
there was
means for sure.
massive hype from the Game Awards announcement.
True.
Jeff loved this game. He played it early and hyped it hard. But the grand finale spot amplified expectations.
I don't know. Like, Jeff, I
To
don't
give
know
you
what he's
some
thinking.
idea, he was so excited that he gave them the slot for free.
Jeff.
Unfortunately, it appears that Jeff's opinion
Jeff.
and gamers aren't aligned.
Jeff's opinion was just wrong.
His help might have actually hurt them. This is a highly competitive game space.
Sure.
You need killer characters, great marketing hooks on day one.
Yep.
But having a hype machine, it can inflate those peaks and expose the flaws even faster. This game set itself up to feel like
I think that really, I feel like if Jeff didn't put it out there with a huge amount of people watching it, I think that honestly the result would have been that nobody basically played it or cared about it at all. I think that it would have had probably even lower player numbers. It just wouldn't have started at 100,000. But the game
Yeah, for sure.
promoted that much. I think it got a lot of people talking about it.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Wildlight was trying to pull off an Apex Legends style shadow drop where you have no big pre-launch
That's undeniable
for the public. You just drop it and let it speak for itself.
Yep, exactly.
And the strategy
And there are
worked
games that
magic
do
for
that.
Apex back in 2019.
That was insane.
Because Respawn had
my
around
God.
300 people grinding out internal tests, and it was backed by EA's massive 9,500 employee machine.
Well,
They
it
had
was also just a much better game. I mean,
Hundreds
just
of
straight up, it
dedicated
was.
QA testers who
I mean, nothing compares to Apex though. You know, nothing compares to Apex. That is elite games.
100%.
More eyes means more input.
But it's a very different type of game as well, though. Like that, that's more of a hold on.
Get flagged.
That's more of a battle royale type of game, though. Do you know what I'm? Well, not more. That is a battle royale type of game, so it's a lot easier to get into, and it's a lot easier to classify that as a good game because it's a battle royale. You're playing against so many people. There's so much happening instantly. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Highguard where you got a lot of time to yourself to think and strategically plan. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And again, it's just been a couple days. I don't know.
And fixed. Highguard, just 100 devs at a self-publishing indie.
It's not that many,
No
actually.
EA scale
I'm
safety
surprised.
net, no public beta, only a tiny press influencer hands-on.
It would have helped to
before drop.
open public beta
Shadow
for sure.
dropping without that testing depth was already super risky in today's
Very
market.
risky.
I
For
think
sure.
that it really wasn't. I feel like if you had shown this to anybody ahead of time, like if they had shown this to me, I would have instantly said this was garbage and it's not going to work. The problem
No, but
is
you would
that
have
a
said
lot of
what
these
would have been
devs
better.
Don't actually listen to what gamers want because there's some sort of like weird impression that they have, like the average everyday gamer, which is like, I mean, really, it's just a guy, right? Your average young guy. Like it's almost like their interests are like a bad thing. So I think that's the other really big issue. Expedition 33 kills that, to be honest. 100 devs, anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's not that many, but you're right, obviously. And I feel like Expedition 33 was a little bit more involved than Highguard was, right? Just a little bit. So in general, I don't really think there's anything more to it other than that, right? Is that, like, they didn't ask the right people. And until people actually start asking,
you can argue that. That's fair enough.
You're going to keep getting bad answers.
Even without the Game Awards hype on top.
I mean, I kind of like that it was like very.
Since Apex launched,
it seemed like it was very risky how they played it. I don't know, and I kind of like that. But again, it's high risk, high reward. If it really went well with no open beta testing and stuff, that could have probably changed the direction of gaming. You know, like and how games are released and so on. It would have had a lot more suspense behind games rather than basically already knowing exactly what you're gonna get, like weeks, if not months before release. So I don't know. It could. If it went well, it would have been fantastic for gaming. Honestly, I think that would have been something that's potentially game changing. But yeah.
2019 Battle Royale was still relatively fresh. Players had fewer high quality free options competing for their time.
Apex Legends was perfect for its time because it a lot of people didn't like, they loved Fortnite for how well it played, but they didn't like that it was like a cartoony game. So Apex Legends came in and it was an incredibly well-playing game that ran pretty well, and it also didn't have a cartoon theme to it.
Yeah.
It was the perfect
balance, yeah. It was the perfect balance between like the cartoony type feel and the seriousness of like maybe a Black Ops and so or Call of Duty. Like it was a perfect balance of both rather than it just being like a straight cartoony type game. 100%. I think Apex, I don't know if that was deliberate, but I feel like it was just like he said, like Asmon said, it was perfect for his time, for sure. Like it couldn't have come at a better time. It just fit in. I feel like Highguard, this is completely own thing. There's not really like a gap for that in the market. It's trying to forge its own gap, if that makes sense.
Today, gamers are drowning in choices.
Yeah, there's so many games.
Apex is still strong. Valorant, Marvel Rivals, Overwatch 2, Arc Raiders with its constant updates. Everyone's got a go-to game they're already invested in.
That's right.
For sure.
They also have less patience to try something new. They'll download, play 20 to 30 minutes, and if the characters don't grab them, if the pacing feels off, if there's any bug or friction, they're back to their main game in seconds.
Yeah, I will say the characters don't grab me.
People think that getting involved with a game, like they almost view it as like you have to earn being able to play this game. But I actually think that's a super toxic mindset. I think the truth is that a lot of these games are, if you have friction at the beginning of your game and your game isn't fun to play right from the beginning, you have a bad game. That's it. You straight up just have a bad game.
They evaluate extremely quickly now, and I think it's safe to say they're way more sensitive to overhype. One whiff of TGA finale bait or mismatched expectations, and the trust evaporates fast. Highguard sadly got the worst of both worlds. They had the shadow drop risk without the army helping them polish. Plus, Jeff's spotlight that made every flaw scream louder.
I really think that if it wasn't spotlighted at the Game Awards, I think this game could have just come out and it would have had like 1,500 concurrent players and it would have died. I honestly, I don't think that I think that basically Jeff amplified an outcome that was already going to occur. Like, it's not like this game would have been successful or anything else.
The biggest takeaway here is simple but powerful. You need to create a healthy feedback loop for your
strong
game,
take,
and you need it from everywhere. You need it internally
but fair
from
take.
your team, externally from playtests or early access, and most importantly, from the actual players which will buy your game. Teams and even media can get into their own bubble. They get focused on the vision or the cool ideas, the internal wins. But players aren't in that bubble. They're the ones who decide if it resonates. They'll tell you straight up what works and what doesn't, often in the first few minutes.
But then this is the problem, is that the game like journalists and the other people in the industry try to send out these platitudes on social media about how gamers don't matter. I'm sorry, but if you're making video games, gamers fucking matter. And if you want to make a game that's not appealing and it doesn't really fit what people expect, you're going to have a bad time. It's just that simple.
If
It's so
something doesn't
obvious.
click, whether it's the
Yeah.
characters or
Isn't
the
it
pacing
crazy?
or anything else,
Gamers, the only
you
thing
have
that
to
does matter.
believe them.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to adapt. And that's hard, especially when you've poured years into it.
They don't want to do what they
making
want.
a great game that we love to play internally, believing in that, and then releasing it and being malleable to have that open conversation with the audience and being able to adjust.
With Concord, toxic culture made
Yeah, I mean,
feedback.
I don't think we need to watch the full thing here, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of points that I agree with Asmon. Well, not even necessarily agree, but understand his points, and his points are completely valid in my opinion. But I don't know. I feel like it was a high risk what they did. If it paid off, it would have been incredible. It didn't pay off on this occasion, necessarily to the full fan base. But is this game still good? I feel like yes, like genuinely, like I feel like I actually enjoy it. But again, is that down to me enjoying it because of the stack I'm playing with? Maybe I should have played it solo because I've not played one game solo yet, and I feel like that would be a horrible experience potentially. You know, so maybe that's the factor. Who knows? But yeah, man, me leave a like on the video.
Nearly impossible. For Highguard,
let's leave a like on the video real quick. Yeah, man. W video.